G'day, everybody. My name is Sam Marwood. I'm the co-founder of Cultivate Farms, and we're all about making it possible for young people to become a farmer. And since we've given you that hope you can be a farmer, we want to get you farm ready. And we've been trawling all over Australia trying to find the best people, the best organisations out there that can help your dream become a reality. And that's why today I have Toby, Locke right here from the Future Farmers Network, and we're going to have a chat about all things future and farming. Toby, thank you very much for your time.
That's a pleasure, Sam. Thank you for having me.
Mate, I'm in Albury in New South Wales. Whereabouts are you? You're Sydney, is that right?
Yes, so I'm in Sydney, and I do a lot of travelling from here, but based in Sydney at the moment.
And you've got a vertical farm or something in your...
We've got urban farms, vertical farms everywhere, as you can see in the background.
Well, mate, you're in the... I've got a question about the Future Farmer Network, but given that you're in the city and you're involved with lots of future farmers, have you got a feel for why does anyone want to be a farmer? What is it? Why are there so many people following you guys and passionate about it?
Mate, there's so many reasons to want to be a farmer. I think, you're working outside. In a lot of instances, you're working with animals and watching things grow in a sense right in front of you. You're a part of rural communities and remote communities that are so welcoming, and it's like a big family. Speaking from a biased and a personal perspective, I suppose, I feel very lucky to have grown up in a rural community and on a farm. I got to work side by side with my mum and dad and brothers growing up, and we would all be a team together. And that's something rare these days, I think, to actually see your parents at work and be contributing to it. So that was something that gave me a bit of a sense of pride, and I think that's a reason for me, but everyone has their own reasons to why they'd love to be a farmer or be out in the bush.
Yeah, I love that. I was listening through a video today of, I think, the American agriculture minister, and he was talking about this 0.01% or something of America's population are farmers, but without them, no one else could do their job. You can't go off and be a lawyer and then... and think, oh, how do I grow my food and put that on the table?
Exactly.
So there's something powerful about that role, the role of farmers to allow society to operate.
I completely agree. And we actually just had a trip over to China with National Farmers Federation and a few young horticulture farmers about a fortnight ago. And that was something that popped up a lot about the sheer number of farmers over in China. So it's completely the opposite to Australia and America, because they're on such small scale farms. They actually just have so many farmers. But that's a different challenge in itself with training and upskilling young people into the industry, because there's just so many of them.
Love it. And you're in the city. Do you, and with the network, do you see many city people who are they're stuck at their laptop overlooking another skyscraper, desperate to be a farmer, and they just can't? What is there this underlying passion within most people in Australia that is lying dormant and unfulfilled? Is that what you're finding? Or?
Yeah, look, I see a bit of it in the city, and yes, I definitely notice some people that really want to be out on farm or even just in a regional area to get that taste for it. So I don't know. I think it comes down to that lack of education and that city versus country gap, that old story. I think it's something I have a personal passion for, and Future Farmers Network, bridging that gap as much as we can, and letting people know that you didn't have to grow up on a farm anymore to actually be out amongst it. You can do what you want, and there's opportunities such as Cultivate Farms and organisations like ourselves that want to help you do that. So yeah, anyway, it's something that I think a lot about, and it's amazing in modern agriculture that you can bring any industry you want almost into agriculture. So you name it, technology, science, even tourism these days, you actually can mingle with agriculture. There's dairy farms in Queensland where, yes, it's an operating dairy farm, but his main income is showing school kids around and learning about where milk comes from. So people need to think about that as well. You don't need to be completely all farming. You can actually still have other passions and adapt those passions because there's a hunger for it in agriculture.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I love it, and it is a bit of a weird feeling. Like a weird situation in agriculture that if my dad was an accountant or mum was an accountant, there'd be this thing. Oh, I've got to be an accountant. Or the only way I can be an accountant is if I've inherited this in accounting. But no other industry really does that.
I know, exactly, and it's something that it's always been the way, hasn't it? If you didn't grow up in agriculture, or you didn't have an uncle or an auntie that was in agriculture and weren't exposed to the farm life, you didn't really consider it as a profession. So it's really good to see, in my eyes, that it's really expanding now, and especially people in the city are considering, coming on board, even if it's agribusiness. So, I think it's a really positive step for agriculture.
So let's say I'm a lawyer sitting right now in Sydney, and I can't see the harbour because I've got a terrible view from my office, and I'm there going, I'd love to be a future farmer. Like, why would I? What should I join the Future Farmer Network, and what do I get out of it? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so, the first answer is 100%. Yes, you should join the Future Farmers Network. I haven't really given a perspective on FFN. So, in a nutshell, we support 18 to 35-year-old young people in agriculture. That although the name suggests that's just farmers, it's actually all agribusiness as well. We support throughout the supply chain. And the way we do support the future of Australian agriculture essentially is through a range of reasons. Events, we put on a lot of events. You may have heard of Young Beef Producers Forum or Youth Ag Council. We provide webinars, educational webinars that can cover anything that you may face or need to know in agriculture, mental health and access to land, access to capital. And also, we do provide just a network of young people all around Australia. So there's great state-based organisations that support young people in agriculture, but we're actually the only national organisation that connects all people together across Australia. So I think another big thing is we provide up-to-date information. So that can be industry information that's going on, or bursaries or scholarship opportunities, job opportunities. And something that we also do provide is our own bursaries. So we sponsor people to go and further their careers or their studies. So it's a great network to be a part of. I'm actually honoured to be a part of it and working for it, because it's something that I have a real passion for, and I get to live and breathe that. So yeah, I personally think definitely join along, and there's great groups out there that can help you get amongst it all. So yeah, that's my little spiel.
Love it, mate. I don't know if I've signed up. I probably have. I should have.
No,
How awkward.
You better have. I'm cutting the call.
So are you a future farmer? Like, is that your dream? You want to eventually get back on the land? What's your...
Yeah, it's a really tough question, and something I toss and turn with most nights. It is something I really think about a lot. My family are on a beef and lamb farm in northern New South Wales, and to go back there every weekend I try to. I absolutely love it, and it's such a great feeling for me to go back. But in terms of giving you a confident answer of yes or no, I don't actually know, Sam. I wish I did know. And I suppose one thing I do know, and I can tell you, is I am stoked to be back in the agriculture sector. I worked for a while in marketing PR, and it feels much more at home to be in agriculture. The actual people I work with, the work I do, the travel into rural and remote Australia, I wouldn't change that for the world. And I suppose one other thing to do with near farming and agriculture is I do know I will live in a regional area. I plan to move back into northern New South Wales and stay there. So, well, I stay in a regional area. So, I can't answer your question exactly yes or no, but being in a regional area and being a part of agriculture, 100%.
I think it's that tricky thing, isn't it? I think even knowing that you can be a farmer is probably the first step. That's what we promote, is that at least know that there's hopeful you can be a farmer, and then you can spend the next few years trying to figure out whether you really want to make it happen. I think the options are the key thing. The key thing that kills dreams is knowing that you're never gonna ever be a farmer. It's impossible. So
exactly, and that's what we've seen over the last couple of decades. If you didn't have your family on the farm, how did you do it? So it's great that organisations such as yourself are popping up to actually give that hope.
That is great. Correct answer, Toby. Mate, just on that idea of you moving back to the bush, have you got any ideas? Like, are you going to chat to politicians or all the big hitters in Australia around how do you attract more young people back to the bush and to agriculture? What are the things that we're missing that we need to be onto, that you wake up really frustrated about, that we need to fix?
Yeah, I actually have been doing that, funnily enough, recently, because I've been thinking about my own move and how our members at Future Farmers could learn a bit more about that as well. So there's a big campaign at the moment with the government, Get Out of the City, #GetOutOfTheCity, which I think is a great idea, and there's so many benefits to it. More money, cheaper rent, more space, less stress. I won't stop if you start me. But I think the big push is to actually get city people out of the city and back to the country. There's a real intimidation. It comes up a lot, but it has to be mentioned, is connectivity. If people don't have access to fast internet, phone service, how can they run a business? A farm is a business these days. So that just has to be fixed. And when I was in China, no matter where you are, you have full service, middle of nowhere, it doesn't matter. So we need to be at that point. And we run an annual survey with our Future Farmers Network members, and constantly the main two issues are accessibility to capital and accessibility to land. So that feeds right into your hands. I know that wasn't planned, but it actually is two of the biggest issues, and it's really hard and really expensive to get on farm. So I think they're really big issues, and if we can tackle them, I think there's no worries. And the next part of how do we keep them there? I don't see that as an issue, because once they see the light, there's no going back. You can't go back to traffic and smog air.
Yeah, well, I've experienced that. I was in Melbourne for 15 years, moved there for university and a job, and now I'm in Albury. And I go back and catch up with friends in Melbourne. I'm like, I can't live here anymore.
No, it's amazing, isn't it? You sort of see, well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that topic, because I wanted to bring up this business called Cultivate Farms, which you've mentioned, which sounds like a great little enterprise. So we're trying to get young people farming, and all the research we've been doing the last couple of years is finding that, as you mentioned, the top two are access to capital and access to land. Are the two big things stopping people becoming a farmer. And we haven't really found many other people doing anything in this field. Like, what's going on? Like, I read an article the other day and put it I think I did a video on it, on a 1968 article about a new farmer, a city farmer wanted to become a farmer, and they said the biggest issue is access to capital and getting a loan. So how long ago is that? 50
years ago.
60 years ago. Same issue. And we're last 2 years we've been doing this research trying to find what's the solution. It's eliminating the barrier to capital. We think we've got a cool option, but we want other people doing this. What's going on? Why don't we have any of these solutions?
Look, I couldn't tell you, but you're right. There's a huge market for it, and just getting. I'm sure you've experienced it, but getting the correct people to match with the correct investors to match with the correct people that are leaving or retiring the farm. That's easier said than done. So, look, it needs to be happening more, and in my eyes, there needs to be maybe a few more benefits, whether that be, no stamp duty or government's helping you out. I think there's real pushes that we could have to get people back to the bush, and they're not happening at the moment. So the age-old family farm versus corporate versus new, it's really tough. So, family farmers, they are lucky in the fact that they can go back, but
Yep.
it's still quite hard to get amongst it and have your own farm. It's almost next to impossible to own your own farm from scratch. So yeah, the answer to how to fix it, I couldn't tell you, Sam, but why there's not more, there really should be people helping out. I think there's a real issue with I suppose communicating what you can do when you're out there, and how we perceive people that are farmers or in the bush. So we've started a recent campaign called G'day Got a Minute, and we just show a quick minute in the life, a quick snippet, and a day in the life of a young farmer, whatever corner they may be in Australia and whatever agricultural industry they produce or grow. So, and that's been really successful, and it's sort of showing off how many opportunities there are, and getting that, I suppose, that engagement back between the consumer and the farmer. So yeah, we've seen some really, really funny ones come out, and a lot of good feedback.
Love it. And I think social media is key. I think we need more farmers telling their story of how good it is, because they've got an audience right there for free through Facebook and Instagram, and we need to be pumping more stories out. So love it. Love what you guys are doing. Man, I know you've got to run off to some other high-powered meeting, so we can wrap this up now. But apart from me clicking right now and signing up to be a Future Farmer Network member, and also liking Cultivate Farms and becoming a member when our website loads up very shortly properly, what are the other three things or other things I could do as this lawyer stuck in the city to get me one step or two steps closer to being a farmer?
Well, I suppose that's the first one. Join the correct groups. Join the industries you love, their industry bodies. Join the young organisations to help you get there and feed you the correct information. And those guys can point you in the right direction. So that's just the start, getting that idea of what's going on. I suppose the second one I did sort of touch on before, but identify your strengths. Farmers these days they're what are they? They're mechanics, they're marketers, they're accountants, they're growers. Yeah, they're everything. So identify your strengths and then point that in the right direction. If you're really good at marketing and being a people person, maybe look at horticulture and going out to growers markets and things like that. So there's a real open mind in agriculture that you can adapt your skills, I think. And then finally, get in touch with, I suppose, without being a huge plug, get in touch with the people that can steer you in the right direction, which is you guys and us, and, connecting you to the retiring farmers, or being in the right area where you can meet the right people and doing what they do, being amongst their community. I think that's a real help as well.
That's it, practical. Like, get out there and hassle retiring farmers is the number one thing we say to people. Get out there and meet them and show them how great you are, and then they'll hand you a farm.
Exactly, and know what they do, what they enjoy. Go to those places. I think that's vital.
Absolutely, hustle it's called. I love it. Toby, thank you very much, mate. Let's close off with one last question. What is your dream farm? Like, what is it you're doing? What would you be doing on a perfect day? And where is it?
Oh, this is so biased, but a cattle and sheep farm in Walker, New South Wales. It is God's country. If you haven't been there, pop up there and and
I
get
haven't
around
been
it.
there. And what are you doing? You wake up in the morning, the sun's shining, and then what do you go do?
Well, to be honest, sorry, welcome people, but the sun's probably not shining. You're in a thick frost and you've got 7 layers on.
Great. So you just make a cup of tea and sit inside all day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Perfect.
Get the fire on.
Love it. Well, mate, thank you very much. Where should people go to find out about the Future Farmers Network?
Head to futurefarmers.com.au or another really popular thing is jump on our social media, our Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and keep up to date with what's going on around Australia for young people.
Yeah, and I think Toby said, he didn't say it, but he meant it, that you just spam him with ideas of how to make regional Australia great and he'll make it happen.
Exactly. Hit me up.
All right, Toby, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.